Hi, today I'm going to talk about EFL curriculum preparation. I think this is the cornerstone of everything that we do in our classrooms. So basically, what I'm addressing today is if you ever had a moment to think about your job and that you're teaching English as a foreign language, that in that particular moment you have to think in a broader scale. So you can't just think that activities will make your students learn English. It's a long, long process. So allow me to present my ideas. I hope you enjoy, and I've been using them for quite a while. So let's see. I hope you guys like it. So let's start here. Here, as you can see on the screen, there is EFL curriculum preparation, focusing on high frequency English words. Okay. The important thing here is this high frequency English words. So let's go. Why curriculum preparation matters? Okay, it matters because EFL success depends on long-term planning. If you think you can just bring activities and the students will understand everything that you're saying, I'm sorry, but you're wrong. It has to be something that they can follow up and that they can learn within the process. Curriculum gives direction, structure, and clarity. You know where you're going, and your students know where it's going. So, without it, classes become very random and ineffective. If you play songs in a class, that's the perfect example that you don't know what you're doing. You're not planning. Okay, students need consistency, not improvisation. That's one of the main things that you should have in your mind when you're teaching. So why start with high frequency words? They represent the real core of modern English. So if you take the most frequently used verbs, if you take the most frequently used nouns and adjectives, put them together in sentences, the students will see they appearing in almost every text. So students learn faster when focused on useful words first. Your goal is the students to be independent from you, and high frequency vocabulary gives the greatest return on effort. I would like also to address the power of vocabulary first. Vocabulary is the engine of communication. If you think in listening or trying to do thematic English classes, forget about it. What we are here for is that the students cannot think or express themselves without words. Without words, you can't do grammar. Without words, you can't do reading and listening. Without words, you can't do anything. So grammar only becomes meaningful when students have enough vocabulary. Reading and listening progress depends on word recognition. One word comes after the other. When you say think, usually the word about comes after. So you have to have that valency right there. Building a curriculum around frequency. So I used corpora, like COCA, which is the Contemporary Corpora of American English, to identify essential words. But if you're a little old as I am, I'm 41 now, you will remember that the Oxford Dictionary had this little key next to the words that they thought that were the most useful words in the English language. So plan the year around 300 to 500 new words, and these words should be the most frequent ones. Introduce them through stories and daily repetition. Okay, so you will see them in one time in the simple present and then the simple past, and then you translate them, and then you show these words in the simple present and the simple past in sentences. You recycle the vocabulary every week in different contexts, so you will see these words in also other stories, and you will see them the sentence being repeated again. So, but the words being repeated in different sentences. That's a very important distinction. But I have done this job for you already, okay? It's on my website and it's called the Ernesto Method. You can just go there and download it. So examples of high frequency word groups. So the core verbs, be, have, get, go, say, make, take, and many more. So the core nouns, time, people, they, the nouns that appear all the time, the core adjectives. You need to put these words together. Again, I already did that job, but I think you can always do a little bit more. You teach words students can use every day, and that's the goal here. So why this works for students? First, students read faster and sooner, and that's the goal for every teacher, to get the students independent from you, to get the students to go out in the world and find what they have learned in the classroom in the real world. They understand English outside the classroom earlier. They gain confidence because progress becomes visible. One thing that's very important in language learning is that it's stable, is consistent, and is motivating. And nothing is more motivating than knowledge. So if they got the knowledge and they're growing that knowledge, that's the biggest motivation that they ever need, much more than a teacher writing, which I do quite often. After exams or exercise, I write, "I'm very proud of your work, and I'm very proud of you," to my students. So those are one of the things. And let's go back. So they start recognizing patterns without formal grammar lessons. So you will see students saying, "Oh, okay, so this word comes after that, and I have never seen that being said. So maybe there's something there." It's like in first language acquisition. You don't know the grammar, but you know how to speak, read, and write. Why this works for teachers: clear direction for the entire school year. You have a path to follow, and you already work very hard in the beginning of the year. The rest of the year, you're just adapting them to each and every student that you have. Lesson planning becomes faster and easier. Okay, once you have done, you can just adapt a little bit more. Classroom management improves because structure creates calmness. And that's the point, right? Once the students know what they're facing in every class, what they have to do, it becomes very easy to deal with them because their expectations meet yours, and they can focus on the task at hand in every class because they know what they have to do it. And it's very cool because you see the students just diving confident, and they do their job on their own. It's very pleasant to just walk around the classroom just answering, "Oh, what does that mean? What does this mean?" You know, you did your job once they know the structure, and you're just there to, I don't know, your waiter, sort of a waiter, just handing in new words to them that they don't understand from the text and the context that they were giving. But that's part of the job. That's student center class. Teachers feel confident knowing every lesson fits the long-term plan. That gives you the confidence that you're doing a good job. So what happens without a curriculum? We all know. We all been there in the first year of our job, and teachers search for random activities. Vocabulary is not revised, and it is quickly forgotten. Students feel lost and unmotivated, and the teacher becomes reactive instead of strategic. So one of the things that is very important to remember is remember your first year. Don't forget it. Don't forget how much you were drowning in the shallow waters, let's say, because it was very hard for everyone their first year. You're pretty lost. But once you get this curriculum going, you will feel more confident, and you know where you want your students to be at the end of the year. So how to start building your curriculum? As I said, you choose your high frequency list. I recommend Coca, but nowadays you have AI, which can give you that no problem. You select 10 to 15 keywords per week. So if you have 2 classes, you have to do 10 to 15. If you have 3 classes, you can do a little bit more. But the main goal is 10 to 15. Connect each week to a text or micro story. So you start with micro stories, 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences. I have done that in my method. You can always download it and repeat the vocabulary using reading, speaking, and listening. All right. So long-term goal is when the students should be able to independently read simple English books. Your goal is that they read books. We need to go back to books, and they need to write. And you can after do open-ended questions about the books. You just AI using the name of the book and ask AI to give you 3 open-ended questions about the book, and then you can check if they actually have read it or not. Vocabulary prepares the mind for real reading. Okay, so that's the main goal in there from the most frequent words. And reading prepares the mind for independent learning. So my final thoughts: a strong curriculum transforms ESL teaching. There's nothing more important than that. And high frequency words accelerate students' progress dramatically. So prepare early, stay consistent, and your students will grow fast. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I hope you subscribe. All right. Thank you very much. Goodbye.